The difference between first-degree murder and the second-degree murder conviction Grayson received could be decades of prison time.
If it ends with prison. Taylor Fleming joining us now with a reaction from the Massey family and a local attorney. Taylor?
Tyler, Janice, our reporters tell us that when the verdict was read in the courtroom today, there was an emotional reaction from both Massey and Grayson's families. Massey's family is unhappy with the second-degree conviction, as they were hoping for first-degree murder. The family referenced the mostly white jury.
But there's a difference in this country when you have my skin color and Grayson's skin color. We need serious justice, not a miscarriage of justice that happened here in Peoria.
Any appeals to the jury's decision are up to the state's attorney, not the victim's family. Attorney Sean Cusack says it's considered very difficult to overturn a jury trial. The next step in legal proceedings is the sentencing, scheduled for 9 a.m. on January 29th in Sangamon County.
We do plan to have impact statements. I think it's important for not only, of course, the perpetrator, but for the community to understand the impact that this has had on our family and on the process.
They won't be bound by normal rules of evidence, and a variety of factors will be considered. According to Grayson's attorneys, he has a stage 3 colon cancer diagnosis. Even that will be on the table.
In sentencing, it's a very kind of fact-intensive process, and you've got to be forthcoming with anything that may aggravate or mitigate the sentence.
Grayson is probably looking at 4 to 20 years in prison. Probation is possible, but Cusack says that's rare for second-degree murder conviction. In Illinois, a state law was passed after Massey was killed, requiring police agencies to comprehensively review employment history before making a job offer. Today, Massey's family called on state legislators and lawmakers throughout the country and at the federal level to pass laws like the one Illinois made official in August. Tyler, Janice.
Taylor, thank you. And